This is MaxPreps Friday Night Live, powered by American Family Insurance.
Good evening. Hope you had a fabulous Friday. Welcome to MaxPreps Friday Night Live, powered by American Family Insurance. I'm your host, Joanna Gomez. Joining me in the studio this Friday, Jason Albert. He decided to come back to us. Thank you very much.
I'm back, and I'm telling you, not being here last week got me
us.
extra amped up for today. So I'm ready to go, and we got some big ones right off the bat.
We do. We're going to bring in MaxPreps National Football Editor Steve Spiewak, because, Steve, we've got some upsets already this evening. Talk to us. Bring us up to speed.
Well, there's a big one brewing in Georgia, guys. Camden County, the nation's number 3 team, is on the ropes, winning 12-7 against Colquitt County, but Colquitt County is driving here late in the fourth quarter. I believe there's under 3 minutes to play as we check in here. Colquitt County is in the black and gold, and Camden County on defense in the white jersey. Just to paint the picture a little bit for you guys, Colquitt County began the season in our preseason national top 25, but they struggled a little bit, had a couple losses that they probably should not have lost. And Camden County has gone undefeated and sits as the nation's number 3 team. Camden County led 6-0 for most of the game. You see an incomplete pass here. Colquitt County came back in the fourth quarter with less than 6 minutes to play. Quarterback Cole Seagraves broke off a 70-yard touchdown run to give them a 7-6 lead. But on the very next drive, Camden County answered with their own long touchdown. Another probably 70 or 80 yard score. So they missed on the 2-point conversion and now lead 12-7. The nation's number 3 team clinging to a lead here in a great Georgia game. And this is going to be a very fun Class 6A playoff bracket. This isn't even playoffs, guys. We're having games like this.
Well, that's good. This live look brought to you by PlayOnSportsNetwork.com. And as you can see, we're in the fourth quarter right now. Camden up 12, Colquitt 7.
No doubt. And, we talked about Colquitt and how they were ranked early in the year. And you talked about their 3 losses. They lost to North Gwinnett, Lowndes, and Valdosta by a combined total of 7 points. A 2-point loss, a 3-point loss, and a 2-point loss. So they very easily could be 9-0, and this could be 2 undefeated teams going at it. But this one looks like it's going to come down to the wire. 2 of the best teams, not only in the state of Georgia, but in the country playing right here.
Absolutely. And, when it comes to the playoffs, guys, there's not a much better coach than Rush Probst, who heads Colquitt County. And it always helps when you're trying to make a deep playoff run to have an experienced quarterback behind center that you can rely on. And Colquitt has Cole Seagraves, who I know Coach Probst and his staff think the world of. And this was a team that almost knocked off Grayson last year in the state semifinals. So this is going to be a very difficult out in the playoffs for any team. And it would not surprise me to see Seagraves and Colquitt find a way to score here and upset Camden County.
All right, Steve, and once again, this live look brought to you by PlayOnSportsNetwork.com. And, of course, we're going to try to see if we can check in with this game. And just, here we go. Oh, and he's down. Just going to say that we were going to try to see if we can check in with this game in just a little bit, because I know you've got also some other storylines and some news that you have to share with us also, Steve.
Well, big story that came down yesterday. Robert Kimdichie, the defensive end from the aforementioned Grayson, decommitted from Clemson. He had been committed to Clemson since the summer. I confirmed with Grayson head coach Mickey Kahn yesterday morning that, in fact, he did decommit, and it's believed, guys, that he is going to end up at Ole Miss, where his brother Denzel plays. I think the major factor here is that his mom is hoping that they can play college football together, and if that's the case, then it will definitely be Ole Miss, and that seems to be the consensus as to where he will end up. A truly elite athlete. He plays both sides of the ball for Grayson, but he's going to certainly star on defense wherever he plays, which will most likely be Ole Miss.
But, Steve, safe to say that this is not a surprise to you guys, correct? You were kind of expecting this.
Well, there had been rumors for a while that, maybe he was starting to look around, or maybe he would not sign with Clemson. And a lot of times when it comes to recruiting, where there's smoke, there's fire. And when you hear rumblings and you hear about kids taking visits and you hear a guy might be reconsidering, sometimes it's fluff and it's meaningless, but a lot of times, it turns out that there's something to it because, again, these are 16, 17, 18-year-old kids who are fickle, who can be persuaded in different directions, and who have a hard time making up their mind when you have some of the nation's most elite college coaches knocking on your door trying to convince you to play for them. So this is not a complete surprise, Joanna. I do think it would be surprising if he does not end up at Ole Miss. So I think that would be the even bigger surprise is if he signs somewhere other than Ole Miss at this point.
Well, and I tell you, we've got a long way to go before signing day. And Kimdiche, #1 recruit, but he's not the only one who has decommitted this week. Alex Collins from South Plantation High School, a University of Miami commit, the top running back in Broward County in South Florida. He decommits, and that opens the door back open for Florida State. So another top-ranked athlete. Florida State, Miami, those two schools seems to go at it all the time.
A lot of moves going on. Thanks, you guys. You know what? We have standing by. We're very lucky enough to be joined by Bert Bergman this morning. He's an assistant commissioner from Colorado High School and Activities Association. Now, Bert, you are also a partner with MaxPreps.com, and I know you're very busy this time of year because of all the playoffs. Safe to say?
Oh, I think that's safe to say. Right now I'm monitoring football, volleyball, and soccer playoffs for the next 48 hours anyway.
I guess that's an understatement then.
No doubt. You know, Bert, talk about what the football playoffs are like in the state of Colorado. Each state probably has a little different feeling to it. What does Colorado offer when it comes to high school football and the state playoffs?
Well, in our state, our largest classification will take 32 teams to the playoffs, and this they started last week, so this week we're down to 16. And actually, while we're talking here, I'm watching the top-ranked Thunder Ridge Grizzlies are handing it to Dave Logan's Cherry Creek Bruins right now, 21-7, just before halftime. So getting pretty close and showing that why they are the #1 team. But we have 32 teams that will go through in 5A. We have the first round this week, 4A, and 4A and 3A are all in there. We have 7 classes of football in Colorado, and which includes a 6-man classification and an 8-man classification. And 6-man is just like basketball on the football field.
Bert, you mentioned Thunder Ridge. I'll tell you what, they opened up the season playing Vista Marietta from California, who was a
right
team of ours.
And that's their only loss on the year. They have not lost to anybody within the state of Colorado. So a lot is expected of Joe Johnson's team.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, I think it kind of snuck up on some people nationally that this team from Colorado was given Vista Marietta a game, but 2.5 months later, we now know that Thunder Ridge is a legitimate team, and that loss doesn't, you know, seem so bad for them because they gave Vista Marietta quite a game. But I'm curious, Bert, is, you know, football is what this show's about and probably is occupying most of your time. But tell us a little bit how some of the other sports are set up when it comes to playoff brackets.
Well, Colorado in volleyball had really taken the lead and was going through pool play much like the Olympics in playoffs until this year. And this year they've kind of gone to a different format where they still have pool play, but they only have pools of 3, and team has to win at least 2 to keep going. And right now we've are in game or match 8 of our playoffs, just finishing those up, and we've already eliminated half of our teams. So it's kind of an interesting. It's an interesting format, but it's one that the state seems to have embraced.
All right.
And in soccer, we have a typical 32-team bracket in all 3 of our classifications, and tomorrow is our state championship games. We have some relative newcomers in 4A and 5A in the finals with Boulder and Smoky Hill in 5A, and Palmer Ridge and Battle Mountain, a team from the mountains, in 4A. So we're excited about the change in the turnover in teams because we think that that's always healthy in your state.
Bert Borgman, thank you very much for talking to us this evening from Colorado High School, and we wish you the best of luck tomorrow and the remaining of the school year. Steve, hang on tight, you guys. I know we're going to move forward now, but I just want to see if we have an update on that Camden County and Colquitt County right now. Do we have an update?
We do, and I can tell you we were watching that game just a few moments ago during our live look-in, and Colquitt was driving down 5 points, and they scored a touchdown. Less than a minute to go in the game. Right now, the 2-point conversion they went for failed, so Colquitt now leads Camden County, one of the top teams in the country, number 3 overall, 13-12, less than a minute to go in the game.
All right. And now we're going to go back because, Colorado was one of the many states underway in postseason, and we've got a lot to talk about. I know you've got this great map to show us.
I'm ready.
Go ahead.
I'm ready. I tell you, you look around the country, and all the states are in the playoffs except 5. And there's 5, at least 3 pretty big ones when it comes to high school football. Texas, Georgia, and Florida all start their state playoffs next week. So we will certainly get to that. And folks, we are going to be with you through the end of December when we wrap up all these state championships right here. Alaska currently the only team right now that's given out their state championship trophies. That's why they're in red. By the end of our show here, Friday Night Live, the whole
All
map's
those.
going to be red.
Yeah, hopefully there won't be any kind of just counting or waiting.
Right.
Going back to election night. But speaking of breaking down, Steve, you break down certain brackets around the country every week, and now there's one that has your attention, and it's North Carolina. So, Steve, talk to us about that.
Yeah, I really like the North Carolina Class 4A bracket, guys. I think the perception nationally is that Charlotte teams are typically the ones to beat. And with the success that Butler has had and prior to Butler, Independence, that's maybe not a surprise. But once the playoffs get going, those Charlotte area teams kind of duke it out. And, tonight was Butler versus Independence, and there's Mallard Creek awaiting those teams next week. But I'll tell you what, there are teams from other parts of the state that are just licking their chops to get a shot at these Charlotte area teams. Teams from the Raleigh-Durham area, teams from the Fayetteville area in the southeastern part of the state. It's a very good bracket. New Bern is a very, very impressive team, having an outstanding season. Northern Guilford, Richmond is another team that you can always count on to be a difficult out in the playoffs. And so I'm excited, guys. Playoff football in the state of North Carolina, you typically think basketball in the Tar Heel State, but there are going to be some very, very good matchups in this year's Class 4A bracket.
Yeah, Steve, you should be excited. And, of course, you guys can go ahead and take a look at all the brackets. All you have to do is go to maxprep.com/playoffs, and all the information is set up. It's pretty simple. You can always be up to speed with what's going on with playoffs during the playoffs and high school football. Very exciting.
But it is amazing. This last week of the regular season in some states is just as nerve-wracking for some of these schools, not only trying to get in the playoffs, but a lot of this inner-city rivalries are played during this last week.
Right, and now it's time to take a live look outside, brought to you by PlayOnSportsNetwork.com, and pretty much this is the game we've been talking about for the first, 13 minutes of the show this morning. Colquitt's up now 13-12 in the fourth quarter. This is it, guys.
No doubt. I mean, we talked about this one before, and we updated you on the score, and now we're getting a chance to look in live at this game, and the home team, that being Colquitt, number 8 in the state. You're not going to see very many teams 6-3 on the season being number 8 in the state, but they certainly are proving that they are not only a team to be reckoned with in this game, Steve, but moving into the playoffs as well.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, moments ago they had a huge defensive play. They actually stripped Camden County quarterback Bryce Ramsey as he went back to throw the ball, and they recovered it. But in what appears to be a controversial ruling, they called it an incomplete pass. Mm-hmm. And so Camden County has another life here. And what's interesting, Camden County's quarterback, Bryce Ramsey, is actually also, I believe, their field goal kicker. So he's trying to win this game with his arm, but we may see him attempt to win this game with his leg. I think certainly they would like to break off a big play here because, kicking field goals in high school is never a certain thing. And, he's a good kicker, but you don't really want to leave it to that. But they're running out of time here. The Colquitt County defense is playing an exceptional second half and an exceptional game. And this is just a really exciting game. And whoever wins this matchup, I think will have great momentum moving into the playoffs in the state of Georgia.
All right, and Steve, where we're at right now, obviously in the studio, we really can't see how much time is left in the fourth quarter. Can you kind of tell us?
Yeah, I don't know exactly, Joanna, but Camden County's got to be running out of time. My guess is under a minute to play. I don't know. Looks like they each have 3 timeouts, but no exact time that I'm aware of. But time is definitely running out, and is that pass going to be ruled incomplete? Looks like that one will be ruled incomplete. So it will be 4th and long here. Camden County's undefeated season seemingly on the lines with this next play. We'll have to see what Camden County head coach Jeff Herron opts to go with here. He's got quarterback Bryce Ramsey, who is an outstanding quarterback. He's got J.J. Green, who's a dynamic playmaker he might look to here on this play. But their undefeated season could be on the line.
I mean, there are wholesale changes going on right now. I think they brought in 11 new guys at the last minute there as they go to run this last play of the game. I think they're going to try. This is a 55-yard field goal to win it for Camden County.
And it's off.
Let's follow that ball. Does that get through?
Oh, yes. No.
He missed it.
Nope,
he missed it wide left. He had the leg and then some on that right there, and you can see those stands are going crazy. The camera is shaking right there. How about that? Colquitt County is going to pull the huge upset over the nation's number 3 team, Camden County. It's the Wildcats' first loss of the season.
Oh, Colquitt up. They won 13, Camden 12 in the fourth quarter. With that kick right there, and you can see just the excitement that's going on there in the stands. It looks like some of the Camden players look a little like in disbelief. They're not sure.
Well, that defense has been so good all season long, the Camden defense. They give up less than 6 points a game, and look, their offense is pretty darn good too, but in this one, they give up 13 and they lose. Their offense, which hadn't been held to less than 30 points all season before last week. They score 39 points a game. They come up with 12 in this one, and it's just not enough. I think we're going to get a quick kneel down here.
Here we go.
And this should do it. Steve, what does this do to the excellent MaxPreps top 25? Obviously, Camden's going to drop.
Yeah, it definitely knocks Camden County down from that number 3 perch. You'll probably look at a team like Katy, like DeSoto, moving up in the rankings. A very big win for Colquitt County. I would not want to play this team in the playoffs. I mentioned they're an outstanding playoff team, and it took them a few games. South Georgia football, the Lions of Valdosta, and then they played North Gwinnett up at the Corky Kell, and they lost that game. But they played some very good teams, as you alluded to, Jason. They probably took some lumps. They had some players to replace from last year's team. But I think what we're seeing now is a very mature team that has found a way to win big games. And, come playoff time, that's what it's all about.
Well, congratulations to Colquitt for such a good game there, right?
Man, that is as good as it gets. We've been talking all season long about how we love being able to go to these games live. And in the first couple weeks, we kept seeing plays that were almost field goals, almost touchdowns. And this is where we really got to see a dramatic ending of a high school football game. Folks, you won't get that anywhere else besides right here on Friday Night Live on MaxPreps.com.
Yeah, and that live look brought to you by Play on Sports Network. And what an exciting game. Those fans, the cheerleaders, they were all excited. What an exciting evening there.
No doubt, and we got a lot more coming up.
This is MaxPreps Friday Night Live, powered by American Family Insurance.